Welcome to OverSeer. OverSeer is a website designed to allow students from all sorts of income backgrounds to enter their experiences and opportunities from high school so that colleges can better evaluate their applications when they're looking them over. So here on the homepage, you'll see a Visualize Your Strengths survey. So say we have a student from a lower income background who had to spend a lot of his time focusing on his family and work at home. On average, how many hours did he spend per week on each of the following? He didn't manage to get too much sleep, so he only had about 40 hours of sleep per week. He had to work pretty frequently at his part-time job to support his family, so we'll put in 20 hours there. He had very little time to travel because of his other obligations, but he still wanted to focus a lot on his homework, so we'll put in another 24 hours here per week. He took a lot of care of his family members, so another 10 hours here, while also balancing houseworks and chores. At the same time, he didn't really have time to do sports or club activities, so we're going to put in 3 and 2 here respectively. He did need a decent amount of academic tutoring because he struggled with his homework, but he didn't really have time to give academic tutoring to others. He also didn't have time for leisurely activities, but he did like to focus on his own self-growth through activities like reading. In terms of time with a school counselor, he focused more on having a guidance counselor, so he did manage to meet with them fairly frequently each week, but he wasn't able to afford a private counselor like an independent college counselor. That said, his family was very supportive and loving, so he was able to spend a lot of time with them as well. So we're going to go ahead and submit for this student. And once we see that the response has been recorded, we can go ahead and hit next. And on the next page, we'll get an idea of what our results will mean. You can see that our responses will be scored and sorted into 5 main categories, including hardworkingness, ingenuity, leadership, commitment, and well-roundedness. So if we go ahead and see our results, now that we're on the results page, we can actually see the user's scores for the following 5 categories based on the survey they completed. The algorithm computes it and determined that the user received a 32.5 for hardworkingness, a 7.5 for ingenuity, 19.75 for leadership, 17.8 for commitment, and 14.7 for well-roundedness. Below, you can then see a radar chart that visualizes these 5 scores in a way that's very easy to understand. You can easily tell that hardworkingness is their strongest suit, while they also have good skills in leadership. If you want a fuller breakdown, you can actually click on this tab right here. You'll be able to see the full Google Sheet that has the different questions as well as the way they're scored across the different categories based on color coding. If we continue onward here, you can now view recommendations. An important thing to note, and this is highlighted in the What Do My Results Mean tab up here, is the fact that just because you scored lower in a certain strength doesn't mean you lack that strength. Rather, it means that the way you spent your time in high school wasn't as conducive to that one category. Again, that doesn't mean that that user is necessarily not committed, for example. Rather, it means that the way they spent their time, and this is dependent on their context and experiences, could have influenced other categories more, such as their hardworkingness. However, the following page provides personalized recommendations based on what we believe you can do to improve your score in the following categories. For instance, for hardworkingness, colleges want to see your work ethic exhibited through your commitment to homework, your family, and your responsibilities. By focusing time and energy on these areas, you can improve your score in this category. As we saw, this user had really strong hardworkingness skills, so they don't really have to worry about that one. However, with something like well-roundedness, having a balanced lifestyle is crucial to succeeding in a college environment, and the way you distribute your time amongst different activities will influence how well-rounded you are. Because this user didn't have the opportunity to do as many activities in high school because of their experiences and context, their well-roundedness score is a little bit lower. But because colleges can see the full survey results and what they responded to each question, they'll be able to understand that the user had to spend more time on their family and doing work at a part-time job as well as at home. So it'll be much easier for colleges to understand why they might not be as well-rounded on their application.